טוב, בעזרת השם נעשה ונצליח. I'd like to welcome everybody to Chilling with Torah Sunday nights at David Chai Synagogue. An absolute pleasure to see this many people here with us. Tonight is a special occasion. It's Rosh Chodesh. It's the beginning of Sefer Devarim. It's the yurtzeit of Rashi. It's the yurtzeit of Aaron Cohen. And tonight we're going to take a chance, באמת, that it fell out on this Sunday night to, להדר את המצווה. Rashi is the all-time top commentator on all the Torah, Chumash, Gemara. Aaron Cohen, Ohev Shalom, Rodef Shalom. Reese is on his way now with about 100 teacup candles. At the end of the night, maybe we can all light the candle for their Ilun Nishmat. For all of you that have been here before, you know how we do it. For anyone who's new in the room, basically we just go around the room and say Chidushim on the Torah. I'll get it started for all of us, and Be'ezrat Hashem, we'll do a big Kiddush Hashem. This whole event got sponsored by Anonymous, a Jew that just wants that Lagdil Torah without taking the credit for it. And he says that all this is לטובת עם ישראל. So, בעזרת השם, הקדוש ברוך הוא לנצח את כל עם ישראל. everyone that needs the סייעתא דשמיא בכל העניינים, בזיווג, בבריאות, בפרנסה, סייעתא דקמא, שלום בית אמיתי, בסייעתא דשמיא בכל העניינים, ושתצליח תשובה בכל העולם. We really want עם ישראל to just get together. This is the time. This is Ben HaMetzarim. The biggest reason why we have Tisha B'Av coming up is Sinat Chinam. Here we're showing Hashem Ahavat Chinam. We love each other. We love each other. We want to be together. We want to learn Torah. We want to flip over what happened in the past to the good. And looking forward for these 21 days to be 21 days of holidays, not 21 days of sadness. So, Hazaku Baruch. Hazaku Baruch to Anonymous. And we're going to bring some more people along with us for the mitzvah. So we have Leilui Nishmat. עונה בת שושנה. אין לעילוי נשמת?
יובל אליהו בן סוזן.
יובל אליהו בן סוזן. יעקב בן רחל. דליה בת עזיזה.
רבי משה בן שושנה.
רבי משה בן רחל בן שושן?
לא, בן שושנה.
אוקיי? ולרפואה שלמה? רפואה שלמה דוד בן זוהרה, שמואל בן עמומה, לאה בת שלום, בתוך כלל כל עם ישראל. אוקיי. Let's get started. לשם ייחוד קודש הקדוש חיטה, בשם כל ישראל. This week's parasha is Parashat Devarim. It's also the beginning of a new Sefer, Sefer Devarim. Very interesting. This whole Sefer is one big review of the previous four. This whole parasha, as a matter of fact, is also one big repetition of similarly of the history that happened in the past four Sefarim. It says over here, פרשת דברים, אלה הדברים אשר דיבר משה לכל ישראל בעבר ירדן, במדבר, בערבה, מול סוף, בין פרם, בין תופל ולבן, וחצרות ודי זהב. Last week parasha we had the Mem Bet Masaot, we had the 42 journeys. Half of these names are not mentioned over there. Half of those names of these places that he's mentioning over here are cryptic, are hidden names to different places that they've been to. Why is that? Why didn't Moshe say again the exact same place that they went to? Over here we learned the art of rebuke. Moshe Rabbeinu was trying to, even, you can see when just to let you know, this is happening in the beginning of Shvat. In about 5 weeks from now, Moshe Rabbeinu is going to expire. He's going to hit his 120 years and he's going up. So right now, what we're studying right now is exactly 5 weeks before Moshe Rabbeinu's death. Now, with that being said, Moshe Rabbeinu on his way out, he could go guns blazing. He can say, because of you, when you were so bad, you did all this and you did all that. He could have went out, as they said, he said, no. As a true leader and as a true lover of Am Yisrael, what did he do? He spoke to them in hints, beremez. They say the rabbi says, Chachamim beremez medaberim itam. You can actually speak to somebody in a hint and he gets it. You don't have to tell him straight out. What we know with Moshe Rabbeinu is you know how to say the right thing at the right time to the right person. So even over here, when he's talking about Korach, and he's talking about Kiryat Yamsuf, and he's talking about the Egel, he's not saying it, even though those are like some very heavy situations that they went through. It says it cryptic. Ben Tofel, V'di Zahav, over there he's hinting to it. However, the chidush that I wanted to say today is a little bit connected to last week's parasha and is a continuation of this week's parasha. Last week's parasha, we had the Membet Masaot. For anybody who went up to the Torah, you can see that the Membet Masaot, they're one big block. They're one big block. There's no break in between them. They have to be read in one shot. And if you look at Parashat Devarim, it's very similar. Moshe goes on and on and on and on, and only on the last pasuk, he says, Lo tiraum ki Adonai Elohechem hu nilcham lachem. In other words, after he gave the whole recap, he gives us like a one-liner, which we'll visit in a second. Now, what's this Membet Masaot? What are these 42 journeys that every person must go through? So the 42 journeys, you have to understand that the Jewish people, when they came out from Egypt, they were in one place one day, one place a week, one place a year, and then a majority of the time they were in one place. But they were around 42 different places in the desert. Big question, why? Why? We know that they could have gone straight from point A to point B. They didn't merit to do that because of the Egel. And then later on we had with the Meraglim. It got worse and worse, so it got prolonged to 42. But what's the deeper meaning? Why should it have to be 42 Masaot? So in order to understand, we have to go a little bit deeper to Sefer Bereshit. There was a time when Adam Harishon was doing this teshuvah, and during his teshuvah process, he immersed himself in a river. And during that river, he was there for 130 years. And during those 130 years, while he's immersed inside that river, there were Ruchin and Lilin, these spirits that came to him and took advantage of Adam Harishon while he was sleeping. And while they took advantage of him, little nitzotzot came from him, and these nitzotzot got spread out through all over the world. Till today, these nitzotzot, these little sparks of Adam Harishon, are found all over the planet. And it's our job as Jews to go everywhere around the world and pick up all these sparks. As a matter of fact, Mashiach is connected to all these sparks. Once we collect all of them, it'll be Mashiach's time. So part of the journeys that Ami said did in the desert was part of that. In the desert were these sparks that they had to go and pick up, and each place that they went to, they had to stay a specific amount of time in order to pick up these holy sparks. Now, not only is it in the desert, it's on our everyday life. They say that every person has 42 journeys in his life. Every person has 42 stops in his life. What are these 42 stops? We don't know. But sometimes you can understand. Sometimes a guy was married and then he got remarried. And until that chapter finishes with that older wife, that's a chapter. Sometimes a person goes through a sickness. And until that sickness is over, that's another chapter. Sometimes it's in a business, a good business, a bad business. Sometimes it's with children. Sometimes it's when in older age. Everybody has chapters. You have to look at yourself like you're a 42-book encyclopedia. And every time you pull out one volume, that's one journey of your life. Remember, we just mentioned the Torah. It's all the Membet Masaot, the 42 Masaot are actually connected to the Shem Membet. There's a special name of Hashem, the Shem Membet, that consists of 42 letters that we have it in the Ana Bechoach. Anyone who reads the Ana Bechoach, right next to it. Right, so on the side, you see in parentheses, they have just the letters, just the otiyot. So they tell us that the Shem Embed is a very holy name, and we could go on and on and on many different things that it's connected to. But he says that the Shem Embed is connected in these 42 Masaot, And as a matter of fact, the reader is not allowed to stop reading the Membet Masaot. He has to read it in one shot, because if he does, it's as if he cut off Hashem's name. It's as if Hashem's name was only said half of the way, not all of the way. Now, a person sometimes goes through life, through all his journeys, and halfway through his life, he gives up. He has a hardship. You see sometimes people tap out on life in their 20s, some in their 30s, some in their 40s, some in their 50s. Depends, it's a part of life. They say, you're not allowed to do that. It's like you're cutting Hashem's name off. Just like you have 42 journeys, and Hashem has that 42 name, you have to do the entire journey. You can't stop it in the middle. You can't decide, you know what, I live up until here, now I'm tapping out. Now I'm not participating in life or in religion or anything anymore.
Well, technically, every day is a new life.
Technically. But
So if you woke up again, you just
it's a unit of many. One day is one unit of one long story, one long chapter. Like, for example, you can say that the Jewish people, one of their journeys was in the desert. Then it was a traveling into the desert. Then living in Israel as a whole body. You can see that they had a lot of different journeys. What's this membet? How do we see it today? Where do we see these little sparks of Judaism that we have to go pick up? So it's very interesting. How many people go to Orlando? On the way to Orlando, all of a sudden you're stopping at a gas station in Alligator Alley. In the middle of nowhere, all of a sudden you have to go to the bathroom, and right over there you have to do a Shariat Tzar. Why? Because right there was a spark. Hashem sent you to go pick up that spark. You have these businessmen that are Jewish. They go all the way to China, all the way to Vietnam, all the way to Hong Kong, all the way to Europe. And all of a sudden you see them, they're walking in the middle of there's no Jews. But yet you see the guys over there, all of a sudden opens up a bottle of water. Why on that street? Why in that area? Why? Because there was a spark from Adam HaRishon on that particular spot, and he went and he picked it up. Hashem sent him all the way on that business trip just to pick up that spark. So when you find yourself in the middle of a park, in the middle of a journey, sometimes you're in Boca, sometimes you're in Fort Lauderdale, all of a sudden you're on a trip in New York, and you find yourself in the middle of the street saying a bracha, doing a mitzvah, understand that it's one of those sparks that you're picking up from the membet, from Adam HaRishon, and each one is connected to your actual journey. The membet masaot that every person must go through. Now, this is very interesting right now. It says everyone has a journey, right? But it's very interesting. It's all up to you how you interpret your journey. In other words, you're going to have 42 journeys, but the outcome of that is all dependent on you. For example, if you have right now, you got into business with somebody, you lost money. How do you interpret it? What's your interpretation? Letova, lera, mishamayim, or it's his fault, it's my fault. They say the person's journeys is connected to his interpretation of the journey. We still have what do you call it? Bchira chofshit. You can choose how your life is interpreted. So even though we said that everyone has 42 journeys, but it's your job to interpret it the right way. Now, we have over here Moshe going through all the journeys in Parashat Devarim, and he goes very cryptic. We said he knew the right way how to review it because he had a lot of kavod for Am Yisrael. We said it's all left him to the interpretation. There was once a story of a famous Chinese guy. He was like like one of these monks that everybody went to. And there was one wise guy who says, you know what, this monk thinks he knows everything. I'm going to get him. He says, I'm going to take a butterfly, a special butterfly, that doesn't move. I'm going to put it in my hand. And I'm going to tell him, is the butterfly alive or dead? If he tells me he's alive, I'm going to crush him, he's going to be dead. If he's going to tell me he's dead, I'm going to move my hand, he's going to fly. He says, whatever he's going to say, I'm going to get him. So he goes to the guy, goes to him, is the butterfly in my hand alive or dead? What does the Chinese monk answer him?
You want it to be.
You're holding it, tell me.
The butterfly is in your hand. What does it mean? You have the choice. The butterfly is in your hand. That's what it is. It's not alive. It's that you decide where it's going to be alive. That you interpret your own life of the Membet Masaot. Now, just to show you how everything is connected, the end of the Parashat Devarim, it says over there, ואת יהושע ציוויתי בעת ההיא לאמור עיניך לראות את כל אשר עשה אדוני אלוהיכם לשני המלאכים האלה כן יעשה אדוני לכל המלאכות אשר אתה עובר שמה. He's giving, after all the journeys, he's giving a promise that Yeshua is going to be the one who's going to take care of all the kingdoms over there, and signs off, לא תיראום, don't be scared of them, כי אדוני אלוהיכם הוא הנלחם לכם. Hashem is the one that's fighting for you. Tonight is Rosh Chodesh. Tonight is Rosh Chodesh Av. For some of you that have the Sidur, some of you know, there's a special name for the month. There's a special combination of Yud Kei Vav Kei for each month. And any person that knows the Yud Kei Vav Kei for that month, and it says Baruch Ata Hashem Mechadesh Chodashim, but instead of saying Hashem, you concentrate on the 4-letter combination, you activate a lot of powers in your prayer in Musaf. This month, Chodesh Av, what is the 4-letter combination for Rosh Chodesh? It says over here, Hey, Vav, and Yud, and Hey. And it stands for Hasket Ushma Yisrael Hayom. Hasket Ushma Yisrael Hayom, it's like a way for you to remind, but it gives you the energy of the month. Hasket Ushma Yisrael Hayom is actually in Parashat Kitavo, in Perek Chavzai, Pasuk Tet. It says over there, Vaydaber Moshe v'Akohanim HaLeviim El Kol Yisrael Emor. Hasket Ushma Yisrael Hayom Hazeh Niyeta Le'am L'Adonai Elohecha. Very apropos, very connected to the last pasuk over here. Lo tiraum, don't be scared of them. Hashem has got your back. He's the one that's fighting for you. In other words, what's the energy? What's the message over here? The message is, you're going to 42 journeys. You're going through all these places. You have a full life. You're not allowed to stop your life in the middle of the journey. That means you're stopping Hashem's name. You're going to go back and forth. But at the end of the day, understand, Hashem is fighting the fight for you. Hashem is going to make you a nation. Hashem has got your back throughout the journeys. Don't feel alone, because what's happening over here, after these 42 journeys in the desert, they're going back to Eretz Yisrael. There's a fear. What's the fear? I'm on my own. What's this energy of this month? And the last pasuk is telling you, you are not alone. Hashem is with you through all your journeys. That's the Dvar Torah for Parashat Devarim. I'd like to invite a special guest, an honored guest that we enjoy his Dvar Torah on a regular basis, but we'd like to feature him tonight. Doron Ben Hanan is going to share some Dvar Torah with us.
Thank you. It says it's a big problem to talk right after the darshan, because he gets you, he gets. First of all, it's a beautiful thing what you guys are doing here. It's tremendous. It's unbelievable. And Sharone Lankry and Adam Tabari that's made the whole thing up. You guys are unbelievable. Bezrat Hashem over here we have Sharon called me. He said, "Can you prepare like a few minutes about Torah? So we Rosh Chodesh, we're making something big." So I'm not really much of a talker. I can, you look for midrashim. I like to find the crazy midrashim and idea midrashim and look for something nice and share it with us. So, but to talk, it's like it doesn't come for Sharon. I guess it comes naturally. We have the next Eli Mansour here, Bezrat Hashem. So it comes naturally. So Parashat Devarim, it's like he started saying. Parashat Devarim is like Moshe Rabbeinu is talking to Israel. This is Katuv Arba'a Sefarim Mipi HaGevura. The four books, Bereshit, Shmot, Vayikra, Bamidbar, was given by Kadosh Baruch Hu, was reading them like straight from them Mipi HaGevura. Sefer B'Dvarim, it's Mipi Gerono Shel Moshe Rabbeinu, Ashchina Medaberet. And it's an actual repetition, not repetition, it's like sikum. It's a sikum, review of everything that they did. Summary of everything that they did. And like Sharon started to saying that Moshe Rabbeinu הוא אומר לבני ישראל את כל הדברים שהם עברו, and is giving it to them in a way of how do I say it in English? It's like in a hint. It's not it's a hint of remez, but tochecha. Whatever you said, but it's a tochecha. It's a rebuke. So I was looking for things in midrashim to see if I can find something, and something hit me. I said, you know what? I can't really find something crazy in the midrashim. But every time I was looking at a midrash, I said, you know what? This midrash, it says dvarim niflaim, and then dvarim kashim, and then dvarim. I said, dvarim, and then it hits me. I said, you know what? Dvarim milshon dibur. Everything is about כשבן אדם מדבר, he create things. God told us, you know, it's like, hey, you have this, you make a bracha on it. Why you make a bracha on it? Because when you make a bracha on it, you create something. You change its forms to something else. You created malach, you created something. It says even more than that, there is mechkar that they did. It says when a person talks, it's what it calls galei kol, waves.
Yeah, that's right.
It's galei kol, waves.
Research.
Now they're doing research and they said that the galei kol, the waves, it's something that stays for probably ever. It stays there. It's not something that goes away. If the same room, let's say, would stay the same air, or same, it'll stay there the same way. So if you say something in the room right now, and somebody would come later on in the future that they have this technology, they'll be able to say to hear what you said because of those waves. So it's like ba'asara ma'amarot nivra olam. It created in the way of what you said. What you said created it. Same thing as us. By us talking, Ela devarim asher diber Moshe. By him saying that, he's fixing them. Is giving them like tikkun for what they did. Not only talking to them about this, not talking to them about this, he's actually fixing, he's creating something that was not there before. The same thing as us. When we do a bracha, we're actually creating something that was not there before. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the whole world with the ma'amarot. Why with the ma'amarot? We just created it. It says because it's created, it teaches us something that we need. We need this power of speech, power of talk. Power of talk have the power of creating, of doing things. Omer, lama achshav ani, and then I got hit. Why I got hit when I was looking for the midrash? I said, you know what? People, Netanel came to me and said, you know, I went somewhere and they were talking about this shiur. You know, somebody asked me, I heard, how is it going? What are you doing with this shiur? How this works? And he told them, you know what? Okay, it's a regular shiur. And when I was reading about Devarim, to look for something interesting, I said, nothing really interesting. This is the main thing, the Devarim. The way that we talk, we actually say things, stays here. It have a meaning. We're creating something that was not there. And whoever creates this, כתוב, אין העולם קיים אלא בהבל פיהם של תינוקות של בית רבן. אומר, so תינוקות של בית רבן, those are it. So this shiur exists because of David, yes, because of the Yeshua, because of Shlomo, because that's why this shiur exists. Because when they say Dvar Torah, it have a meaning, have a big, powerful things. This is my Dvar Torah, not much of a...
Beautiful. Shlomo, just turn around and go to the other Bet Hanan.
No, I can't follow my brother, but you can go to David.
Not Aliyah to the Torah, you can follow.
He spoke about David.
Adam.
David, you have something?
He spoke about David.
Well, since Doran was talking about words, it got me thinking what I was gonna do for my Dvar Torah, and I remember something that I read up, and it's definitely not something like Doran's, but so I'll start with the mashal that there was an architect and he was gonna design a museum. So it was gonna, and this architect was known for his beautiful buildings. So he went, he saw the landscape that they were gonna build a museum, and he went and he sent the blueprint to his assistant. So the assistant got the blueprint and he built the building. At the coronation of the building, the whole thing collapsed. Now the architect, he went over with his assistant to see what went wrong. And he said, he's like, did you take into account these tiny little dots? He's like, oh, those tiny little dots? No. He's like, well, those are the pillars that keep the building up. So the same So the same thing in here. Our words can impact. Our words, we may think they're like tiny little dots that don't affect anything, but they can be used. They can be used for good. Like when we're doing the shiur and we're learning Torah, they can be used for good to keep the world standing, to make it more stable. Or when we're talking about idle things and we're wasting our words, then we waste a pillar or destroy one. So we should take. So in the Devarim, in words, we should try to take into account and try to keep our words meaningful and full of Torah.
It's a nice mashal.
I got it from Olamenu.
From where?
Olamenu.
It's a nice mashal. We have Shlomo over here. No,
Adam Morgan said something.
Adam?
I just want to add to what Sharone said about going to 42 places, and it's Membet, and he said that basically it's in our hands. Whether, like the monk said, if the butterfly's alive or he's dead, it's based on the guy in his hand. So a situation arises, and it depends how you're going to take the situation. So I learned this from Rav Sadon, and he explained that what an issue is a situation that you have to go through. But what we want to pay attention to about an issue, that if you don't go through it the proper way, you can't go to the next stage. You're going to have to go through the same issue again. So not only do you have to do the right thing, but it's in your benefit. Because if you don't do it, it's just going to happen again. But what is an issue? Issue is so simple. It's anything that, for instance, if I went into my pocket trying to pull out 2 coins, and I went in and I pulled out 1 coin, and therefore I had to put my hand into my pocket to pull out another coin, that's an issue. I had to do an extra task to pull out 2 coins. I could have pulled out 2 coins the first time I put my hand into the pocket. Or if somebody walks into a bank and there's a long line at the bank, so he's like, oh my God, he's complaining. If you do that, if you complain at that line, next thing you know, you get in your car and you're stuck in traffic. Until what do? You take this to the right thing. What do you make it? Do you give life to it, or do you make it an issue or a problem? So what do you make out of your situation? And when you do it the right way, when you handle these situations the right way, that's when you go to the next level. That's when you graduate. And as long as you don't graduate, you're going to keep going through the same thing. It's just like school. If you don't pass 5th grade, you're still going to be at 5th grade forever. If you don't... So, Bezrat Hashem, we all merit to graduate.
Me?
Okay, so you had to get me in, you know. So Parashat Devarim, the word Devarim is basically gives you the concept of words. Diburim. So obviously, when you think of diburim, the first thing that comes to your mind is the type of diburim. There's positive, there's negative, and of course, lashon hara always comes to play. So the diburim that my concept in taking it, I read it. Like that talk? I read in the diburim about the judges, right? And the diburim about it says something pretty like right to the point. It says the judges gotta understand it. There is some sort of test that we have, and that's judgment. Because when it comes to lashon hara, when you talk about someone, you're only passing judgment on them. Whether you're speaking bad or good, you're judging them. So if we can learn from these judges that have to judge, they're obligated to judge, we can learn that we have to judge too, not try to fight it and say don't judge, because we're natural human beings. The human being in this world will always try to compare himself to another human being, which theoretically is judging. If you're going to be in a situation, you try to say, well, I do it this way, he does it that way, then you're judging whether his way is right or wrong, or your way is right or wrong. You're judging. We're going to be judges. We're going to judge. Just like Hashem said, you have to judge. We're going to judge. Don't try to fight the urge to judge, because it's a natural instinct. We just have to train ourselves to judge favorably. And therefore, in return, we get judged favorably in the back end. So Hashem here is teaching us a very strong point, and some musar for us, is that don't try not to judge. Don't try to pretend you don't see that guy driving whatever he's driving, that he doesn't have that house that you have, or that he has that family or that or
Don't
the
be
light.
holy, then
Don't
thou.
try to put in this a judgment and say, listen, I'm not going to judge it. I'm going to pretend this doesn't happen. I'm going to pretend I don't see this. Understand that you are in this situation, that you're in front of that, and you're going to judge. Now, try to translate your judgment into a favorable manner, and then therefore we could judge back in ourselves that way.
There's something beautiful that they say on Parashat Devarim over there. The Zohar, it says that Razeh de Razin, the secret of secrets, HaKadosh Baruch Hu taught Moshe how to read faces and hands, because it was time to pick judges and officers. Later on, Moshe Rabbeinu taught that knowledge to all Am Yisrael, and they started to use it on each other. They even judged Moshe. There's a big midrash over there about it. Very interesting if you get to read it one time. But about the judges in Eretz Yisrael, I actually read that they had to hear the testimony and not see the defendants. Why? Because they had the knowledge that Chokhmat HaPanim. If they look at the guy, according to the lines on his face, the shape of his nose, the shape of his features, they could tell if he's prone to be a certain type of character, and they might form an opinion. So when it came to the judges at the time, they said that their face was covered, and they would only hear testimony.
Nice.
Because otherwise, they would look at the person's face, and they would predetermine, prejudge what would happen to him. So imagine
That's what happened to us.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember, just to give you, they have, it all depends on the face. The face, if from the hairline to your eyebrows is smaller or bigger. The bigger it is, the more spiritual you are. The smaller it is, the less.
That's why with time you get more spiritual.
Yeah. Then they say from the eyebrows to the lips is how emotional you are. Some people are less emotional. Sometimes are more emotional, less emotional. And then they say from the nose to the chin is how artistic a person is.
This is the whole Zohar, the whole book
Yeah,
of Zohar,
Razeh
Parashat Mishpatim.
לא משפטים איתו, Razeh de Razin.
Well, that's what we learned. The word panim is from panim.
That exactly.
The word panim it translates your
The
panim.
panim gives you the panim of the.
That's why they learn with husband and wife, with a good shidduch.
שם כתוב שם על הפנים ועל היד.
So that's why they say in the zivug, when you say a man and a woman, if you want, you need to understand that you're going to look different. If you want to be on the same page all the time, then she's going to look just like you, and you don't really want that. So you got to understand you're going to be on different pages. You're going to look at each other differently. It's natural, and just to understand you're going to eventually start looking more like each other. And you see husbands and wives, you see them doing each other for a long time. They almost look related. And you see Lavdil, the goyim, they start looking like their dogs. You see, he looks like a dog. He's with his dog all his life. All of a sudden, they start looking like him.
He looks like the dog.
Yeah. So the panim, it translates all around.
I have over here Yoshua wants to give us one.
When Moshe was telling them the stuff that they need to improve, and Bilam was telling them that they're so good, that the stuff, all the stuff that they were so good, it seems like Bilam likes them better. So there's a story of two tutors that were tutoring a prince. So when the first tutor was tutoring him, he showed him that he was telling him, oh, you need to go harder because your father's the head of the court. So, and then the other tutor, he secretly hated him, so he was saying, oh, you should, you're good, don't worry, your father's the head of the court, he won't do anything to you. So that's how you know that Moshe was actually trying to help them.
How?
Because he was rebuking.
Because he was telling them what's wrong.
Very good.
Yeah.
Beautiful. We
A
have
good
Ilan
friend,
over here.
it's like, so he's reminding me like, there's a little boy that's running after a ball, and he was running to the streets. And everybody's yelling at the boy, what are you doing? You're crazy, man. One guy came and slapped him in the tushka. How do you know that this guy he's the father? Because he really cared. he's the one that, you know, he can punish the boy. So like what he's saying, like Moshe Rabbeinu, you know, loved Am Israel because, you know, he rebuked Am Israel. But I want to say something like Lankry said before about a lot to do in life. The way we see things in life, I think it's a lot to do with Yirat Shamayim. A person that have a lot of Yirat Shamayim, he knows that everything is from Hashem. Everything that we think that it's bad, but it's from Hashem and it's good. And somebody sent me a very nice story about the Baal Shem Tov. There is a lot of stories about the Baal Shem Tov. They're connected to the Baal Shem Tov. So the Baal Shem Tov saw one guy, a very old person, and he said, how are you? And he told him, Baruch Hashem, very bad. What? Baruch Hashem said, very bad? What happened? He said, I'm 78 years old. I'm working very hard for Parnasa. I cannot retired. I'm working from 8 o'clock in the morning until 8 o'clock at night. I'm an old person. And a few days ago, my daughter, she got divorced from, you know, her husband, and he was miserable to her. You know, I used to give her so hard time, and she have to come to my house with all her children. What a life! I can't take it. So the Baal Shem Tov, he blessed him, and he said, I bless you that in a few days, you're going to have a wonderful life. All the Hasidim, wow, what a bracha, what's going on? So they was curious to see how influence in that bracha of the Baal Shem Tov, you know, to that person. After a week, the Baal Shem Tov, he saw that person, and he told him, how are you? He said, thank God, great. I'm the happiest person on planet. I'm super happy. I thank God for every second of my life. So they told him, what's going on? What happened? He said, I'm 78 years old, and I'm an old person, and I can work from 8 o'clock in the morning until 8 o'clock at night. And thank God my daughter got divorced. After many years, she suffered with the husband. And thank God she came to live in my house, and I have all my grandchildren, and I can see them every day. What a wonderful life! So it's a lot to do, you know, the way we see life,
how you interpret
the way we think about.
Beautiful. Beautiful. זה הפרספקטיבה שלך.
And thank you, Adam, for the... But next time, שיהיה...
בשרי.
לא.
שיהיה פרש, לא מהפעם פריג'ידרים.
שניצלים. אני בגללו התחלתי לאכול שם בווין דיקסי. קונה לי כל יום זה.
Anyways, it's a beautiful דבר תורה. באמת, it's השקפה. It's how you see life, how you take life. That's what they said. You're going to have those 42 journeys, but it's up to you. Whether you're alive or you're dead. Or it's all in your hand which way it's going to go. Who do we have over here? Bechavot. Give us something.
Nothing much, just reflecting the word from the Parashat Devarim. It says, like we all talked about, Dibur. And it's I looked at the word and tried to find what's into the word a little bit. Besides that is the Devarim, שמשה קיבל בר סיני, 40 שנה היה שמה. Was the Mem and the Yud. The Yud he קיבל, he got the Ten Commandments. And
the Yud and the Mem you're saying?
Yeah.
Nice.
And also it's Yam, היוד והמם. קיבל 10 דיברות ו40 יום בהר. וזה גם, אומרים שהתורה זה משל כמים, ים. והפך פה והפך פה וכולו בו, והוא עמוק כמו
בים. אפשר להוסיף מם ויוד זה נון. נון זה הנון שערים של הקדושה, וגם 50 שערים של בינה. Which is
That's
also
it,
the
guys.
journey that we go through
זה-
after 40
זה דג, זה סושי. שאכלנו היום.
זה הדג.
האוכל דג ביום דג.
נון,
ניצל
נון זה
מדג.
דג.
זה דג. That's right.
So also wanted to continue with that. He said that also it's Yom. It's a Daber Yom. בתורה, דבר בו יומם בלילה. היום והלילה יכול להיות שחס ושלום שהיינו במצרים ב-49, אפשר להתמוהמם שאם יגיע ל-50, שזה ים, זה לא היינו חוזרים, אבל גם צריכים לדעת שביום שטוב לנו, שיש אור, צריכים ללמוד תורה, ושחס ושלום יש קשיים וממש חושך, לא רואים את הסוף, דבר דברים, דבר, איזה מילה דבר תורה, ניצל מהכל בעזרת השם. זה בידינו.
Moshe, you have something for us?
Well, I was saying tonight when I saw so much food and said, "We'ele had devarim," and then I thought, well, there's a pasuk. There's a pasuk that says, "Kihem metukim midvash." You know, the words of the Torah are sweeter, so we compare them sometimes to nice ta'amim, you know, like beautiful ma'adanim, and that's how we have to see the Torah. We have to see the Torah like the best of the best. So when you eat these, you feel happy. When you study Torah, it's like you're eating the best food for the soul, for the We'ele hadevarim. So, like you were saying, you know, these people come for the sushi or for the Torah. When they eat food like this, the Torah enters more, you know, into the brain. So, with that, I wanted to say that it's a tremendous tochecha that I wanted to also remind that I said last week that we see the Torah as nice, beautiful things, not as something sacrifice, although it entails sacrifice too, but it nourishes our soul. And what I wanted to say that what I mentioned last week, that when we come to the minyan in the morning to pray, we should think of the pasuk that I mentioned, that it says, "Diber Hashem el Moshe lemor." Et korbani lachmi leishai reach nihoach. So we don't do korban today, but the korban, in place of the korban, we have the davening in the morning. So I'm just like, if this parasha is about tochecha, I'm giving a good tochecha to everyone to come to the minyan, because it says it's not just a beautiful thing that we're doing for Hashem. It says literally the whole world depends on three things: on Torah, on Avodah, and Gemilut Hasadim. So when we come here to daven in the morning, we are really sustaining the world. And it was said by our Rabbi Taub that was in Buffalo, where I used to be in Young Israel, that there's an opinion that says that this is the most important pasuk in the whole of the Torah. Because we say, you know, Shema Israel, we say Aseret HaDivrot, big things. Of course, everybody knows these are the most important things. But, you know, et korbani lachmi leishai reach nihoach tishmeru lehakrib li bemoado, day in, day out, day in, day out. Try and do that. Try and do that for a year. Sometimes I get tired, and I understand this is the biggest fight of the Yetzer Hara, negdenu. Just, you know, it's to keep that constancy. And literally the world depends on that. So with that, I wanted to say that when we say these words, v'dibarta bam, we say, what's the gematria of bam?
Sushi.
42.
42. V'dibarta bam. And what happened for 2 tonight when we were here?
42.
The 42 journeys. V'dibarta bam. We should medaber on the words of Torah.
There's something else you could say for Dibarta Bam. What's Dibarta Bam? It says Dibarta Bam, Torah shebechtav, v'Torah shebe'al peh. Where is it hinted? Torah shebechtav, how does it start? Torah shebechtav, how does it start? Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim et haaretz. Bet, Bereshit.
ממתי?
How does Torah shebe'al peh start? Memati, bet v'mem. V'dibarta Bam, Torah shebe'al peh v'Torah shebechtav.
Yeah. So if you put it the other way around, it would be Mov, Memvet, which is Gematria 42, but Moshe ben Abraham is 43. So according to
We'll give you with the Milui, including the word.
With
the
the
Milui,
with the
not the
kolel.
words. Baruch Hashem.
With the kolel.
With the kolel.
We keep on talking about the Masaot, 42 Masaot. Right now, 42 Masaot, 42 Masaot. So so we can just understand just a little bit of it. I think we heard the shiur over here. Maybe those who didn't hear it. Remember there was a rabbi was talking over here before Mincha or Arvit, in between. He says, right, we have the 42 Masaot, and then he talks about the Navi in Eretz Israel. The Navi was in the old days, when they used to do the Korbanot and Bet HaMikdash was existed, you know what, 300 meters down there was a Baal. They were doing worship, idol worshippers. Right there. They see the Amud standing up. They see miracles going on. And 300 meters down there, they doing all kind of work. Jewish people, Israelis, they doing this. So the Navi come and give him big tochecha. And in between this big tochecha, it says, Zacharti לך חסד נעורייך, לכתך אחריי במדבר, בארץ לא זרועה. So the commentary is, what are you talking about? If we look at the Midbar was heaven. What are you talking? They eat the man. The one is food that
soul food.
Makes you, it's a soul food, makes you smarter, makes you, it says that when they wanted to dry clean, they go right outside to the cloud, dry clean. Everything is like perfect there. So what do you mean? Everybody would want to be there. I would want to be there. It meant to the Masaot. Why it was meaning to the Masaot? Because the Masaot, it says, it was the Amud standing up, and then they knew they need to leave. So right now, some Masaot, they were coming up at night, and in the morning they need to leave.
Wow.
It makes no sense. And sometimes what are we doing? Are we staying? We're leaving. Imagine you have family, you have tents, you have things that you need to move. Yeah. You need to move. So you're standing up right now. Okay, I think we're staying. Okay, we're staying. Okay, so settling up, settle everything up. The kids, this, setting. 1 day, 2 days, boom, stand up. Let's go. That's That's what he remembers us, because this is זה נקרא אהבה עיוורת לקדוש ברוך הוא, זהו זוכר לנו.
Because think about it. It's not just one family with a few kids and just a wife. A whole nation going to the desert. You can say, what's for lunch tomorrow? What if I get thirsty? Not only me, what about these millions of people? You have to have a tremendous amount of emunah to go into the desert if you're trusting in Hashem. And Hashem says, I never forgot that. I never forgot how you were so innocently, like you said, blind faith, blind love with me in the beginning. It's to our credit till today. Ariel, you have something? No. Something from camp? No? Okay, so I want to say thank you. Shlomo. Shlomo. We get to it.
You said a lot.
Okay, I just want to say a big thank you to our sponsor. I want to say a big thank you to Adam Tabari, the one who's been there, keeping this night going with sponsors every week. He goes and he drives and he brings the food. And
we said the Torah is the car and the food is the gas.
Yes. Yes. And this is a huge show of appreciation for all the guys that come here every week and support and come and say Divrei Torah. We really appreciate you guys. Be'ezrat Hashem, we continue more and more. This night has a lot of success and tzachah. And we brought candles. If anybody wants to light a candle for Rashi or for Aharon HaKohen, we have them in the back for Leilun Nishmat. Thank you so much.